Okay, so before we go any further, let's look at our role enums, because we have roles in our platform. Every user has a role. So now that every user has a role, we have to provide role types or roles under the statics. Now statics folder or package will really handle things that will not change throughout the system, and we shall be putting them under interfaces or enums, stuff like that. But in this case, let's create an enum for role types, and that enum is going to be, I shall call it role. I think you can just call role types. Yeah, we shall make role enums and then user types, then the app constants. But first of all, role enums, because we can't run the system without the role enums. Basically, I'm just gonna import these from this class. I will have to put them in the probably link in your description, such that you can access them. There are so many. For the purposes of shortening this video, I won't be able to type them, but I will make them accessible to you. I will put a link in the description to my website, where I have all these are stipulated very well. So under the statics, we have the role enums that really define the roles that we have in the system: admin role, customer, and agent. Then the app types, we shall talk about this later, as we are talking about as we head for messages, we shall talk about these role types and their usage. So statuses, these ones are the ones that I've been telling you. After returning a response, you have to tell the client, is it approved, is it accepted, is it closed, is it deactivated. If any response comes up, you really have to put a status to it. For example, if I'm creating a client or an agent whereby it needs approval from the admin, so you need to really approve. As the admin approved the account, or is the account closed, or has it been created successfully, things like that, or the account has been deactivated. So it's really important to have these constants. As I said, I'm going to be putting them in your description. Next, I will have to handle the initializations handler, where I'll have the response messages, and the security, where I'll have the jots and the jot authentication. Now that is a whole system about the jot authentication. I'll give you the codes and I'll explain the code, and that will be the next tutorial. But right now, let's handle the handlers and initializers. The initializer I've already explained in the previous video. First, the handlers, where we have response messages, error mappers, and the action messages. So let's have the handlers here, and then we proceed. Don't worry, I will put all this in the description. I will provide this code in the description. I don't want to waste time here typing all this code. We only have 4 minutes left. But as you can see, action message is just an enum, nothing much. An enum, you just create an enum, and then you start putting all your action messages: saved successfully, updated successfully. In any case, saved successfully, that's when you're creating a new field or a new thing. For example, when you're creating a new shop item or creating a new user, just like we've seen, this is the message that comes after a successful save: saved successfully. So when you're doing updates or post, we shall look at updating information. If a user wants to update his username or email or password after it has been successfully updated, this is the error message that you get. Deleted successfully, we shall see the delete endpoint where the user clicks on the delete button and deletes a record from the database. And so after that deleting, you will receive a response message as deleted successfully. Same applies to removed, and then added could be always added, like in the system. Approved, these are the statuses. For example, if you create a loan and the loan has not yet been approved, or probably an account was opened by the agent but needs approval from the admin. So once the approval passes through, you will receive a message that approved successfully. If it's not approved, then it will be declined, and this is the message. So if you're really working on something and look at things like fetched, when you're operating with the get endpoint, trying to request for data from the database, you will see that this is why we use the fetch enum. Say fetched successfully once the data has been successfully returned. Rejected, you're sending a request and the request is rejected. Then there is another common one that is always confusing. It's called where you have probably you have no access to the, yes, you can access the endpoint, but right now either you're not signed in or your JOT has expired. So all this will be provided to you in the link in the description. Error mappers, something applies, response messages, and we shall be seeing how to use them in our endpoints. That's in the controller packages. Okay, so all that said, let's work on, let's see the initializer. Like I said, the initializer is the first guy, the admin, to always sign in. Actually, it's not just signing up because he's already initialized into the system, so all he has is just to sign in. So I'll give you the code for the initializer and you change it to your custom requirements according to what you require. Initializer, so you can see it's a initializer class. Let's complain. Looking for method under the user repository. The username exists. If the username exists, you won't be able to really proceed, and that's if this boolean false or equals, it checks whether if the inputs you've put, like the admin and password, whether they really exist in the database. And once they exist, there's no reason why you shouldn't be signed in. You're signed in successfully. We want this to be admin at shop.com. Going to be providing this method, don't worry, must be around here under the user repository. So we had our domains. We said we have repositories under domains, and we have user repository here. Specifically looking for a method called username exists here, and once we bring it, no doubt shall place it under the domains, still same place, and under the user repository, and hopefully the error will be gone. Now you can see the error is gone. So this is the initializer. This is his username, admin dot, setting the username to admin user dot profile pic, setting the profile pic, though we have not provided yet. We shall be providing that very soon. Then admin user role, sets the role to the role enums. I think you remember how we did the role enums. So it refers to the role enums and gives him a role of admin. Admin password, that one you have to provide a bit root, and then forward it here, you pass it the request to a password. So something that I've really been talking about here. We can copy this, bring it to the user, if you look at the user, where here, I mean the user service, because it was the user service where you have the password request, we don't necessarily save passwords in the database the way they are. We first encrypt it, then we save it to the database. So you equate it to the bcrypt utility, but here what you have to provide is now the input password that the client provided in your request. So this is why we say request dot password. This is where the password comes in. So it will take this password here, the user that has just typed in, and encrypt it, then save it in the DB. So as per now, this is all we have in this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're going to be completing all the statistics. We've not just finished, because we have the security. We have to handle the security here, and then we see how we can start on serious code. Thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial.